Today's video, we're going to talk about full funnel marketing strategy using timed banner and video ads to own your market. So what this strategy I'm going to cover here today is about is showing ads to people that are going to be soon to do business in your market that you can identify by the clues that they leave or actions that they take online. They started to search around on the web for something you sell, and then ultimately you get a much higher share of the market coming to you because you got in with them first. I'm going to cover in detail how to do this and of course how much money this actually makes, given I have several case studies I'm going to go over in this video as well to break down just how much you can make doing the same thing for your company. This is something that many people don't actually do or talk about, so I'm talking about it here, and I use it all the time in our advertising firm to make a ton of money. So for that matter, what most people typically try to do is they wait to the last second to market to somebody. So if they're searching for pottery wheels, they want to get in front of the person that types in buy pottery wheels on Google, which there's nothing wrong with that per se. You're just going to only end up with 20% of the sales you could have got if you actually got in front of that person before they made that search. What I call pre-marketing, or a lot of other people just call full funnel marketing strategy. You get in front of them when they start to search about pottery wheels. They're starting to do basic research online, of course. And a lot of people actually think the only way to technically do just what I said is to do organic, content marketing, where you put out articles, you put out video content out on the web so that when somebody searches for what's the best pottery wheels for sale, they show up. And that's not a wrong way to do it. It's just a hard way to do it. And I'm telling you, that's completely unnecessary. Do all that work. Hopefully you rank. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. You can do it too, of course. It's much quicker just to advertise to people that are searching for that same content. Get in front of them. It's so inexpensive to do. It literally costs about a fraction of a penny to have a banner ad, or in the case of a video, about a penny each time a actual video ad shows in front of somebody that's searching for content like that in your market. So they could be searching for how to buy your pottery wheel. It costs you a penny to have an ad impression on YouTube for that person, or a 5 cents a view of your video ad that educates them. And now they're familiar with your company. And guess what? By the time they actually go and they are going to buy a pottery wheel, you're first in line for you to get it. So a lot of people don't do this because if they do it, they do it half-assed, first of all. Second of all, they don't see an immediate return, so they don't do it. They don't see somebody watching their video and then buying instantly, so they say, oh, it doesn't work. The reality is, that's not how it works most of the time. But even if you want an instant return, there's a way to get it to have an instant return. You just have to be clever about how you approach people. So if they are looking for pottery wheels, in terms of what's the best pottery wheel out there, you actually get in front of them with a golden offer that will drive action to your website right away. And I'm going to talk about how to do that in detail here. But with all that said, I'm going to talk about the overall strategy here so you understand how to do this step by step. I'm going to break it down for you so you can replicate this for yourself. The way this system works is the user searches for a product or service in your market. So they're looking for DUI, options. They got a DUI they're looking for. Hire a DUI lawyer on Google. They've searched for that. And now what you need to go after them, because they're going to be hiring a DUI lawyer. They just searched for one. Or you target people with your banner ads and video ads that have searched for DUI lawyer. You also target people searching for something that includes your product or service, how to get your charges reduced from a DUI to reckless driving, something like that. You also target people that are typing in a competitor's name. So they typed in a DUI attorney somewhere in your market that you compete against. So one of those three things, regardless of whatever one they do, you're going to start marketing to them right away as soon as they've done that. A lot of people are going to search DUI attorney on Google, no matter how good your ad is written. Even if I read it for you, it's still only going to get 15% of people to click on that ad. The other 85% aren't going to click on it for whatever reason. If you don't want to throw those opportunities away, you got to start marketing to that person at that point in time right away moving forward. And you can with Google and custom intent audiences, and I'll talk about the details on that. But as soon as they start giving a clue that they're in market, you start marketing to them so you can get as much of the other 85% of the market that you can. And of course, even if they're searching that way, you may say, well, they've already hired somebody that they searched for that. No, they haven't. There's a ton of people, at least in that market, and most of the markets out there, they click, they get to the website, they look around, they're not going to convert right away. They pretend like they're going to, they don't, or they contacted the company, they're not going to make a decision right away. 20% are out of the market right away. The other 80% aren't. You are going to throw away so much opportunity not going after these people. And of course, even more than that, you got people searching on Google for other stuff, how to get out of a DUI, whatever. And you can start going after them as soon as they've done that. Because as soon as they type in how to get it out of a DUI, of course they're going to be hiring a DUI lawyer. They have to. Or if they don't, they're stupid basically. But at least half of those people are going to be hiring a DUI lawyer. So the question is it going to be you or not? And that all just simply comes down to your willingness to set this mechanism and mousetrap up for your business. You target people the following way. Then you have banners and video ads show up for people. So with that said, there's two different ways that you're going to show up for people once you've identified them, of which, by the way, the number one way to target these people, going into this first, is to make a list of every web page on Google that ranks and every video on YouTube that also ranks well for these terms. So you first got to come up with the terms. How to get out of a DUI. How to get your charges reduced for a DUI. Then you manually create a list of all the URLs that you find on Google and then videos that you find when you search for the same things on YouTube. And then you create a campaign targeting those exact people so that if they're on that article and there's ads there, you're going to be there for the future ads that I'm going to tell you to run here. Or if they're on YouTube, while they're watching that video, your video ad is going to pop up while they're watching it, ultimately. In some markets, you'll get by with, because it's a big enough market, there's whole channels on YouTube dedicated to just what you do. So if you sell Windows, there's whole channels that talk about just Windows, how to get Windows installed, what are the cheapest brands, whatever. Also, though, in some markets, what you need to do is you need to target people who have just recently searched, like I talked about before, the type of things that we're talking about. And this is done through custom intent audiences. So you create a custom intent audience, you tell Google, hey, if anybody's typed in DUI lawyer recently, or how to get out of a DUI, or a competitor name, I want to target them. Not only that, if anybody's been to one of these pages on the internet that you found out that talk about ultimately how to get a DUI attorney, or watched one of these videos on YouTube about DUI related stuff, as I mentioned. Also, if the person has went to one of our competitors' websites, because you can target by previous search and by website, they're going to put that person into a profile that you can target in general, so that if they're just browsing the web, they're not searching for DUI related stuff anymore. They're now watching cat videos. Your video ad can show up for them and they're tagged for future targeting. That's what custom intent audiences do for you. That's how you target these people in specific. Banner ads specifically, what I recommend there is you target keywords and these custom intent audiences in combination. So a person has to have been on a web page about a certain amount of keywords that are related to DUI. So on a page about DUIs, and the person searched for DUI related stuff in the near past. That works the best because it weeds out most of the bot traffic. It's harder to make money with display network because of all the bot traffic, but that's a key way to narrow it down and make it effective for you. Of which, by the way, if the person's actively researching your topic that surrounds what you do, they're going to convert at least 3 to 4 times the likelihood than if they were just watching something else and then your content shows up for them, even if it's good, because they're on to doing something else and they're not in content mode, at least content about what you're doing. If you're doing video ads, then you simply just need to create the custom intent audience and just target that by itself. There's no keywords involved. In fact, you can't target keywords and a custom intent audience in combination like that. You can only do that with display campaigns. But when it comes to YouTube, that's how you do it. So if you're not, in summary here, your best is targeting a list of videos and articles to target with ads. So that if they're on those articles or watching those videos, your ad shows up. Second best would be a channel, a whole channel. It's a little bit less targeted, but pretty damn good. And then finally, if you can't do that, you do a custom intent audience and you target people who have recently typed stuff in, like, as I mentioned, about your niche, or been to a certain website about your niche, and target them that way. And if you are making money from the list of articles and videos, you can go ahead and then do the custom intent audiences later on too. That's your targeting. Now, as far as what you show to them is really simple. You show them need to know information, first of all. So if they are looking for how to get out of a DUI, then the easy thing to do is show them exactly that. Here's how to get out of a DUI. Now, the more targeted it is, the better. So if you actually grouped your, let's say, your custom intent audiences or your articles by category. So if they were looking for how to get out of a DUI, you hit them with how to get out of a DUI video, it would work the best by far. If not, if they're just looking for anything DUI related and you hit them with that video, it'll work okay. So it's up to you how much work you put in. The more work you put in here, the higher your return on investment is going to be from your ad spend. But that's essentially what you do. And basically, you got to think sophisticated about the type of content that you're going to put together. Nobody cares about, here are your rights as a DUI arrestee. Nobody gives a crap. I want to know something I'm not going to find on the internet anywhere else. How to get out of a DUI charge through having ninja techniques that nobody knows about. I want to hear a video about that, which, of course, there may not really be so much that, but you hype it up anyway. Here's, people have gotten out of DUIs because they've challenged the breathalyzer system, and here's what to know about it. In fact, a Monster energy drink will throw off a breathalyzer test nowadays. And you go into that. And the point here is it to get the person to just hire you right away? Some people will, but it's more so just to build up the brand trust. Then you could come back later with another ad that focuses on your firm specifically. The other way that you could get in front of them with a banner ad or video ads is sales/offer. So if you are selling house paint, you can get in front of them a 25% off for March only offer. So that if they're looking for how to properly paint my house, they're reading that article, they see a banner ad on that webpage about that's highly, highly relevant to them. They're going to click through at a super high rate, and they're as qualified as possible for you. Therefore, it's going to deliver a high ROI for you. So that's the other thing that you show up for them with. And sometimes I'm going to do both in a market. Some other times I'm going to do just the sales offer by itself. And sometimes I'm just going to do the info. It depends on what type of market it is. If it's a market with less trust in general, I'm going heavy on the information. Get straight to the point. Or I'll go with the info and then the offer, which you can set up a sequence of ads. They see one versus the other later on. To where if they clicked on one, they can see the offer ad later on. You can do that with remarketing, tiered remarketing. But that's in general what you do. Then, for that matter, you get that campaign set up, you limit your impression frequency on the ad group level. So the sweet spot on the amount of times that your market sees your ad, because almost everybody's going to go online and search for something about your market before they buy. Maybe not every market, but most. And you want your ads that you set up here to be seen by everybody in your market 7 times a month is what I found is typically the sweet spot. You can monitor the average frequency per user by going ahead in your campaigns menu, adding a custom column, or should I say modifying columns or customizing columns, and then add that literally called average frequency per user. And they'll tell you of the people you're targeting that have recently searched for anything related to DUI in the last month, how many times each person on that list that Google's now curating for you on an ongoing basis now has saw your ads. And if they see it more than 7 times, your return goes down drastically. If they see it only once or twice, you can be making a lot more by just cranking up your ad budget. So realistically, you want your ad budget to be whatever it takes to get everybody to see the ads at least several times in your market a month. And at the ad group level, you can, though, also, I would recommend limiting the frequency itself of your ads. So you don't want people in your market to see your ads more than 2 or 3 times a week, at least for each ad that you have, because it starts to piss people off. So you add that limitation in there, and it'll basically then now you're set up for everybody to see your ads a couple times and then it stops, and then you're good. And so now everybody now knows in your market who you are. It's got your brand name on the ad. They've seen it. So if they are going to do business with somebody in the near future, they think you're a brand name in the space now. That's why you do all this, even though some people will click through your ad right away and buy. Well, going back to what I was saying before, it literally costs a penny or even less than a penny to have a banner ad show up for somebody that you know is going to be buying from somebody in your market. I mean, to give you a great analogy here, if I put in front of you somebody who just got arrested for DUI, and I said, you could talk to this person for a penny, would you do it or would you not do it? Obviously, if you weren't smoking crack here, you'd say, yes, I would pay a penny to talk to this person. Google's setting you up, damn it, to do this. So why are you not doing this? Why would you not want to talk to every single person who's just gotten a DUI recently? Establish your authority right away so that when they go finally hire the lawyer that they need, you're going to be it. This is really simple, but because other people don't do it, nobody does it because they're waiting for everybody else to do it before they do it. Eventually, this is going to be commonplace information. Trust me on this. Because generally speaking, what does everybody do before they go ahead and they buy something nowadays? They go online, yes. They also go on YouTube and they type in, what do I need to know? Why are you not there? And you can't complain that people don't know who you are and therefore they're not doing business with you. And you can't compete with the big boys unless you're doing this already. Otherwise, because you can essentially be the big boy in your market and beat these other big guys just by being strategic about your placement. You're not running a billboard across the whole city, which is dumb, at least until you've done this, where you could literally just start showing up once they start doing the research online and until they buy, if you will. And it's so cheap. Anyway, so your goal is to make the info so good, the offer is so good, they'll click on the ad at least once when they're showing the ads, over the next month while they're probably still in market, or months. And then once they even click on one ad, now they're on a remarketing list and you know that they are interested in your brand, familiar with your brand. Then you're going to have other ads show up for them to close them on the sale, of which you got case studies, testimonials, product comparisons. So depending on what you're doing, but ultimately, again, this is how do I be interesting enough that they actually will give a damn? Just saying, hey, I offer house paint. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody. I want to see pictures of the house paint that you sell, what it looks like before and after. I want to see testimonials of people that used your house paint and what they said the experience was like. I want to see your paint compared to your competitors' products. Side by side, what is the look of the paint before and after compared to your competitors' products? And if you don't know what it is that people care about, you audit your customer base and you ask them what it would take for them to be impressed, and you just start taking notes. Really, you don't have to do that anymore because you could just simply go online and read your competitors' good and bad reviews and see what people care about. And that's the stuff you want to make your remarketing ads about. But the idea is that they now see a series of ads that make them more and more compelled to go do business with you after each ad they see. That eventually, once they've seen enough of them, there's nobody else that they're going to go with. Especially since your product comparison ad, when they click on it, can take them to an article on your website that goes full in detail on that product comparison. By the time they read a 5-minute product comparison on your product versus your competitors' products, there's like an 80% chance that they're just going to go with you at that point in time. Why would they not? Especially when your competitors are way too lazy and arrogant to do this. And they're not going to do it. Even if I send it to this video and I force them to watch it, they're not going to do it. And most people, frankly, I'm sorry guys, but most guys watching this aren't going to do it either. I could talk to them, I'm blue in the face about this. Most people aren't going to want to do it because it takes effort. They want to know that one ad that they can run and their business explodes. If it were that easy, I'd be a billionaire already myself. I mean, it takes consistent work, building up funnels for your business like this in order to really cash out. I mean, this isn't that hard either. I mean, anybody can do this. Get yourself a few freelancers together, put some content together, and then advertise it to all the people that are in your market when they enter your market and for a while. Anyway, ultimately, by the way, with the custom intent audiences, I've gotten questions before. If somebody searches for DUI lawyer and you go after them, how long does Google have you set up for you to go after them? I don't have concrete data on that. My general gut feeling is, after been doing this for 10 years now, that it's about 30 days. Searched for DUI lawyer within the last 30 days. They're going to see your ads if you're targeting them with a custom intent audience, of which, if you can get them to click on your ad once, then now you're going to remarket to them for however long you want, up to a year and a half. So just wanted to answer that question. Now, again, the main reason why this is so great is because, as opposed to what you used to have to do to dominate your market, which is to churn out shitloads of articles and video content and show up everywhere. So when somebody searches anything about your space, they see you everywhere. Then they're just going to do business with you at an overwhelming rate, and you become the winner in your market, essentially. This process sidesteps it all. All you need in this case is 5 or 10 pieces of marketing content that you then strategically place in front of the person once they start getting into your market. So it's way better than having to do an organic ranking setup where you SEO the content and all this stuff. In fact, in my opinion, it's just irrelevant, because at the end of the day, the consumer just wants the content. And yes, if they saw you everywhere, that has a huge psychological impact on them, but the same effect can be achieved by having 10 pieces of content show up for them, and it's all just through paid means. Anyway, or at least close. Organic would still be the best. I'm not stupid here, but paid is a close second. It works almost as well. The more specialized whatever your offering is, the better this works. So if you are offering something that only like 3 or 4 people offer, and you do this, oh my gosh, gangbusters for your business. Why? Because pretty much when somebody starts browsing online for your fireproof industrial paint, and there's only 3 suppliers, and there's really no content on the web, and you start hitting them with all kinds of content like this, they're going with you almost every single time. Not only that, but if they see anything that pops up for them, they're damn well clicking on it. The more general of whatever you do is, the less it works, because there's already content out there about Windows, for instance. Now, yours can be better than the competition in terms of their content, but it will still always have less impact on the user. They're going to click through at a lesser rate when you do something that's more generalized. So I do want to say that up front. Now, that all said, that's the system. You identify how to get in front of people that are entering your market for the first time. You hit them with banners and video ads with info and or an offer. It could be an offer like 200% money back guarantee, or it could be an offer guaranteed lowest rate on your mortgage, or we'll give you a $50 Outback Steakhouse gift card. It could be a bunch of things. Anything that's going to titillate your user enough to get them to click, and then you're going to remarket the hell out of them ultimately. Understanding that you want to limit how many times they see the ads, of course, on the front end. But once they click the ad, you remarket to them piece after piece after piece of proof that you actually are the best in the market, and then you get the sale. Ultimately, you should tie all this together with other regular search ads. So if you're a DUI lawyer, you're also going to target people just typing in DUI lawyer on Google, all the same. But what it will do is it'll make sure your click-through rate on your ad, when you got all this going in the background, is 3 to 4 times higher than it would be otherwise, because you're a brand in the user's mind. People read who you are before clicking on your ad. They do this a lot. If they see a trusted brand name, they're going right for it. Anyway, as far as case studies, before I get into those, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, you absolutely want to, because I have the best information online about how to make money with ads that you're going to find, period, bar none. And it's because I spend 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our firm to find out what works and can deliver it to you on this channel. So subscribe already if you haven't. I also got a great blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can find step-by-step information on how to make money with ads the way that I do it. And I document everything with screenshots and everything else. So if you like that type of content, you should check that out as well. If you have any questions about anything I'm covering here, by the way, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours. You also can reach out to me through my Discord group, link in the description. Also, by reaching out to me through my website. I do paid coaching and consulting through my website, as well as, done for you services, of which I work with agency owners, regular companies alike. That said, what our spiel is, hey, Frank, Tommy, Mary, you're doing $500,000 in sales right now from your ads. I'll make sure you get to $1 million before we charge a management fee. And that, few grand that we charge a month in terms of a management fee is absolutely nothing, because we've already made you more than that and then some on what we just did for you for free. So it's a no-brainer proposition. All we ask is you're a serious company that wants long-term help once we give you an initial boost. Do you want to do it? And do you want to offer like that? Reach out to me and I'll give you one. I'll tell you if I can get you results and then how much and an 8-quarter projection to boot. So, and then also I have ad templates available. If you are in a market that we've been in already, we can sell you the winning ads, landing pages, and campaign templates that work for your niche market, of which I've been working in hundreds of markets. Chances are high I've already got the results you're looking for. And then I can tell you the results we've got in your market in another city or country, so you would know what you stand to gain from the template already. So if you're interested in that, let me know as well. As far as case studies go, going back to the original point I was about ready to make here, we had, and I touched on these examples during the video here, a house paint company where we literally just showed up on key articles about this particular type of house paint that we were selling. It's not just house paint in general, it's a type of house paint. Key articles, that's it, 1,000+% ROAS. Now, it would have been even better if we did video marketing, which I couldn't convince the client to do all that, which is why I say videos and banner ads are great. And anymore, videos can be what pulls more because more people are going to YouTube than articles nowadays. And that's the deal. Window installation. We had a client we marketed to on YouTube heavily. All the channels about window installation that were out there, there's a few. We just targeted them and pounded them, which, of course, just to clarify, if you're a local window installer, you can just target a whole channel, but you can also add in the geofencing. So if they're not within 30 miles of your office, they're not going to, on that channel, they're not going to see your ads. So we targeted that. We also targeted any relevant articles out there on the web about how to buy windows and so on and so forth. Of which because this is not such a specialized niche, like I said, the more specialized you are of a niche you're in, the better this works. And that is the better ROI you're going to get. But even though the ROI is better in a specialized niche, the volume's not going to be the same, so you're not going to get as much volume. Here, the volume's great in terms of window installation, or let's just say better, if you will, potentially better, but it's a more saturated niche. So we got an 850% roughly ROAS on our ad spend doing it that way. In either case, we did not have to target custom intent users, so people who even just simply typed in window installation in the past. We did not have to target them to get that return, or should I say didn't, because there was already enough content on the web to target. We didn't need to do that. And we typically don't want to target people who have just recently searched for window installation, because those people are not as profitable as going after them while they're looking for window information actively, like I mentioned before. However, in the CFO outsourcing space, there's not enough content out there about that topic at all. So we had to target anybody just typing in CFO outsourcing at all and just go after them on a generalized basis. In that particular instance, we had a 590% average ROAS running ads on YouTube as well as on the display network in that specific space. And then for CFO outsourcing, we're just telling people, hey, this is what people even do with the CFO and in terms of offer and how they're getting a return on investment out of their time. So the person was initially interested in outsourcing their CFO services. They already know what the value is, but they may not know everything. So we try to educate them. And then on top of that, we had an offer saying, hey, we'll give you a free $20 Starbucks gift card for 15 minutes of your time, which is a really weird idea for a lot of people to grasp. But we knew that if they responded to this, we could sell them on the service. So it's a really handy technique for a lot of you guys to use. For the house paint company, all we did in that particular instance was just run the monthly sales. Every month there was another sale, July sale, August sale. And like the July sale would be like the 4th of July sale, 25% off for the 4th of July on our XYZ type of specialized house paint. The window installation space, we offered a financing program primarily there. So pay $50 a month for a new window installation. That's, helpful because if a person's in market for windows and they haven't bought yet, obviously one of the main ways you get them to do it is to help finance the purchase. And that's just a clever way of doing it itself. It's given that a discount would have worked better, but the margins aren't there. We can't necessarily do it there. Which by the way, just to tell you a secret, you'll make more money raising your prices and then having discounts available than no discounts available. So that you can run actual ads here saying, hey, we're running 25% off all our windows for this month only for Valentine's Day. You'd be crazy not to get windows from us because at a loss, or whatever you want to say to hype it up. Anyway, with that said, hopefully that makes sense. This full funnel marketing strategy, how it works. Realistically, you can do this organically or through paid ads, or what I talked about today. And this is basically the new way of doing things. You don't need to rank organically anymore. You just need to strategically show up for the exact people that are going to be buying and just be a little bit more compelling than the general public is. And you'll end up with most of the customers in your market. See you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.